Hi class, I just wanted to let everyone know that I've truly enjoyed this course. You're all amazing people living incredible lives. I also wanted to touch base with everyone before you start the final exam at the end of this week. So just to review the instructions, the final exam's not cumulative and similar to the midterm exam. There's two parts. There's an untimed and a timed section. The time section will be 25 multiple choice questions and you'll have 60 minutes to complete them. And then the untimed section will be 3 essay questions, which I've provided for you in the module area. You can study for the multiple choice by taking a look at the study guide, making sure you know what those terms are, and concepts and archaeological sites. Make sure you have your reading guides available. And then for the essay questions, I just wanted to review real quickly the 3 essay questions to make sure that you understand them. The first essay question asks, how were early empires administered and maintained politically, economically, and ideologically? And then it asks you to use at least three archaeological sites to illustrate your point. So first you need to think about what it means to administer and to maintain an empire. Thinking about how some of the Inca, Aztec, or Chinese empires used political, economic, and ideological means to manage and control their region. And what means did they use to sustain the empire? Think about the Mitak, the Quipu, the road systems, trade networks, the Mandate of Heaven, the military, and be sure to review the Module 5 Case Study Early Empire Overview and video transcript to understand the patterns for empire administration and maintenance. And then you'll want to go to your textbook to find more examples of the sites. And actually your case studies list the sites, and the questions are located on the case studies, so you'll see where they're like for Module 5, that's where you're going to find some of the sites that will address this question. But there are other examples, too, in some of the readings. In the second essay, it asks you to discuss at least 3 examples from the course content that demonstrate why social complexity often leads to the centralization of power. So first you need to define social complexity. What does that mean? And you also have to define centralization of power. And then you need to kind of describe the relationship between the two of them. How do they work together? As things become more complex, what happens? Generally speaking, we know it's different in different places, and that's why you will be sure to go to the Module 4 case study overview and transcript to understand the patterns of how social complexity and centralization of power work. And then you'll go to your textbook and readings to find those archaeological sites. For example, if you suggest that higher populations led to increased social complexity and a centralization of power, then you might discuss what happened at Cahokia. Give an example using the archaeological record. Or you might look at some of the early Mesoamerican centers or the early Chinese centers. The third essay question asks you to use the archaeological evidence to discuss what some of the different ways societies create order around the world around 1000 AD. So first you need to review the Module 4 Order and Early Societies video overview and the transcript, and you can watch a video again if you'd like. They talk about the archaeological sites as well, but you'll have more information in your textbooks. So I'd review your reading guides to find some of these early sites, and then you need to think about how order was created. Social hierarchies is a way to create order out of lots of people. I like to think of Facebook and how I create order with all the people that I have become friends with. I have friends from the Foothill Ecuador program. I have friends from the Foothill Belize program. I have family. I have close friends. I have co-workers. And so I create order by classifying people into groups. So how is that happening in the past? And and how did they centralize power? How were trade networks or urbanization or written language, how do those all contribute to the order of society? Think about laws. Think about religion. How does that help structure society? I mean, if you think about the Neanderthals and some of their early religious beliefs, and compare that to organized religion such as Islam or some of the early Chinese religions, religion has become institutionalized. It becomes more organized. It becomes more controlling. And it is less about the individual and more about the group. So these are some of the things that societies use to help maintain order in society. We have laws. We have driving rules. We have all kinds of things to help maintain order. What was happening in these early AD 1000 sites? How was order created at Chaco Canyon? How did that road system work? So just try to think about how people organize themselves. And these things are kind of like the roots of our society today. So it's important to understand where we came from, to understand where we are and where we're going. So another way to think about it is, to compare it to those earlier lifestyles. Hunters and gatherers. What did they not have when it came to order in society? And compare it to the new societies. Think about urban centers. But make sure that not only do you state that they created social hierarchies, but give an example from the archaeological record. And that's going to be really important in this final exam, that you are able to demonstrate to me that you understand how we use archaeological record to help support what historians and others think about how societies have evolved and what some of these different patterns are when it comes to the development of social complexity and the centralization of power and the spread of these early empires. So that's it for now. And of course, if you have any more questions, please feel free to post them in the private message area. I will be taking any late assignments all the way through till 11:59 on Friday. I cannot accept any assignments after Friday, and I don't do incompletes for the course. And I know some of you got behind, but you're really rocking and you're catching up, and I appreciate that. I want you guys to succeed and get what you can for your money. And I also wanted to let you know that I am teaching a cultural anthropology course coming up next. And I've taken some of your advice, and I'm providing the reading guides complete for people to use as they read, but I'm not requiring that they complete them. I know it takes a lot of time, and I know you learn the material when you do it, but I also understand that it's a balance of time on both our parts. I've also restructured the discussions so we aren't asking muddiest point discussions. We're actually talking about some things that make the content more relevant to our lives. But I've also, that class, the cultural anthropology class, is really interesting because you get to do some really fun real life anthropology in the course, and you learn a lot about yourself, and at least one person you'll do an interview with someone, and it's a fun course. Most people have great reviews and enjoy it. I've tried to make it easier, so you just have a weekly quiz for your readings to help you practice and learn the material, and then you just have a midterm and a final, and the three two small writing assignments and one bigger writing assignment, which is spread out over a period of time, so you're never under lots of stress. So please sign up if you want. If not, I wish you the best of luck, and I've enjoyed having you in the course. My cat is calling, so I've got to go. And remember, too, that Foothill has a program. It's a anthropology field school down in Ecuador this summer, and I will be going down there and doing some archaeology. I might get involved with some of the applied anthropology, depending on if I can convince them of some of my ideas. And it's a really fun group. Dr. Sam Connell and Catherine Moore, I've been friends with them for over 20 years now, and we're really fun, and we have a really good time. And Ecuador is a beautiful place. We're in the highlands. We spend quite a bit of time excavating Inca fortresses, which is way cool. And I was excavating last year in a hacienda that dated to like 40 years after the Inca had been conquered. So it sits on top of Inca ruins, and I was excavating in the hacienda area. Really cool place. So please consider it. It's Foothill Ecuador program. You can Google it. But we will be having more programs, not in Ecuador. This is our last year. Sam has been down there for, I believe, 13 years. And he's thinking of moving on, maybe to Ireland. But you guys take care and have a good spring break. And I hope to see you in Cultural Anthropology. I know a few of you have already signed up for it. And you guys take care. And thanks for hanging in there. Bye-bye.